All right, let's dive into Australia's new migration plan for 2026. Now, I know it's a topic that can get super confusing with all these numbers and policy changes flying around, but don't worry, we're going to break it all down and make it really simple. Okay, so let's cut right to the chase. You've probably seen these two big numbers everywhere, 185,000 and 306,000, and you might be wondering, what's the deal? They're both about migration, sure, but they mean totally different things. And honestly, getting this right is the absolute key to figuring out your real chances of success. You know, it's so easy to get tripped up by this, but stick with us because over the next few minutes, we're not just going to explain the difference. Oh no, we're going to show you exactly where the government is shining a massive spotlight and how you can step right into it. Okay, let's get into it. The whole system, literally the whole thing, really comes down to understanding these two numbers. And the best way to think about it is with a pretty cool analogy, the policy tap versus the population thermometer. This really lays it out perfectly. That 185,000 number, that's the tap. Think of it like the government literally turning a dial up or down, deciding exactly how many people get to stay for good. But the other number, net overseas migration, that's just the thermometer. It just takes a reading of the total population change from everyone coming in and going out. One is a deliberate choice, the other is just the result. So let's focus on that tap for a second. For the 2025-2026 year, the government has set the permanent migration number at 185,000 spots. Now, what's interesting is that this is the exact same number as last year. And what does that tell you? It signals that they're aiming for stability, for predictability in who gets to call Australia home permanently. So where are those 185,000 places actually going? Well, this chart just screams the answer. A massive 71%, that's over 132,000 places, are all going to the skills stream. I mean, the family stream is still a big chunk at 28%, but it is just so obvious where the government's real priority is. And look, this isn't just us reading between the lines. This is a direct reflection of official government policy. Every single decision they make is built on this one idea. So, to put it simply, if you have skills that Australia needs, you are precisely who this program is built for. All right, so since the skills stream is the biggest piece of the pie by a country mile, let's drill down into it. Where exactly are those 132,200 skilled places being handed out? This is where you find the real pathways with the most opportunity. This chart tells such a powerful story. Just look at the employer-sponsored category, a huge 44,000 places. It's the biggest single pathway. Then you've got the state and regionally nominated visas, even bigger when you add them up, really trying to pull people to specific areas. And then look way down at the bottom, the skilled independent visa, just under 17,000 places. That pathway, which used to be so popular, has shrunk like crazy over the years. So the key takeaway from all this, the numbers just don't lie. The government is sending the clearest signal possible. If an Australian employer wants to hire you to fill a skills gap, you get to jump to the front of the line. It is, by far, the most secure and strongest position to be in. But of course, it's not all about getting a job offer. Let's quickly check out the other important pathways, starting with a brand new visa for really high-end talent. And of course, the incredibly important family stream. Okay, this is exciting. The government is bringing in a new national innovation visa. And just look at the sectors they're targeting. Renewables, medtech, AI, advanced manufacturing. We're talking about the future here, right? So if you are a true standout, an exceptional talent in one of these fields, this visa could be your golden ticket. It lets you completely bypass the old points test system. Now shifting over to the family stream, there's a really important concept you need to know, and it's called demand-driven. Basically, for partner and child visas, the numbers you see are just estimates. Unlike the skilled visas, there's no hard cap. The government will process every single eligible application it gets. This makes it a much more predictable and reliable pathway for families. Okay, so we've got the permanent program covered, but that still doesn't explain that intense pressure, that feeling that everything's so much harder right now, does it? To understand that, we have to zoom out and look at our other number, that thermometer of net overseas migration. And wow, this chart shows exactly what's going on. After that huge peak right after the pandemic, net overseas migration is just falling off a cliff. It's forecast to drop all the way down to 260,000. This sharp decline is the reason for that competitive squeeze so many people on temporary visas are feeling right now. So what's actually driving this drop? It's really two things. First, fewer migrants are arriving, about 14% less. But second, and this is just as important, more migrants are leaving, about 13% more, especially all those students who came after the borders opened and are now finishing their courses. It's clear the government is tightening the screws on temporary visas, not the permanent ones. And the main tool they're using to do this is the new three-tiered skills in demand visa. Just look at how it's structured. If you earn over $135,000 in the specialist skills stream, you're on the fast track. You don't even need to be on an occupation list, and they're aiming to process you in 7 days. The core skills stream is for most professionals, tied to a specific skills list, and the essential skills stream is for very specific sectors like aged care. It's a very, very deliberate system. So we've looked at the permanent plan, we've looked at the temporary squeeze, and the new visas. After all that, what does this actually mean for your personal strategy? Let's bring it all home with a really clear look at the winners, the challenges, and what you should be doing next. The new system creates a very clear divide. You can see it right here. The winners are clearly those with an employer sponsor, especially high-income earners, and people in critical sectors like healthcare and trades. On the other side, the challenges are now way greater for international students who are facing much stricter rules and for independent applicants who are fighting over a tiny pool of visas with sky-high points requirements. So the key is you have to be proactive. Here's a 5-step checklist for you. First, confirm if your job is on a priority list. Second, get your skills assessment sorted out. That's your foundation. Third, do your homework and see which states need your skills. Fourth, and this is the big one, focus all your energy on finding an employer to sponsor you. And finally, get your timing right. Don't wait until the last minute to get moving. At the end of the day, the government has laid out its roadmap with incredible clarity. It wants skilled, sponsored workers who can fill immediate gaps in the economy. So the big question we'll leave you with is this. Now that you know the rules of the game, is your strategy ready for 2026?